I really wish I can play music, but I don't want to accidentally disconnect the whole live. But gentlemen, we're live. How are you? Good to see your faces. Glad you can join me today. How are you doing today?
Hi, my friend. I'm very fine. Thank you. And thank you once again for inviting me to your podcast.
The live stream. I mean, but yeah, I guess. Wait, hold on. It's like while I was talking, the other page was started to replay the whole thing. But we're good. Yeah, yeah. The live stream, the podcast, the conversation that's going on around the world. I mean, whatever. It's all the same. We all have the same goal. We're here to learn, we're here to educate, we're here to practice with English, we're here to talk culture, discuss different things. Yeah, we're not experts. We're not saying we know everything, but we come across things the same way you all do. And just like you all do, we sit down, we have a convo. Geng. He's in Thailand holding it down from across the pond. We got Eduardo in Peru doing his thing. And Gang, how are you today?
Good, good. I'm just recover from food poisoning, but I think I'm good now. Yes.
Okay, how did that happen?
I drove my mother to a hospital and I ate some food like in the food court inside the hospital. And when I came back home, somehow I feel nauseous and I throw up a lot and I have bad diarrhea, so I had to go to the hospital. Yes, and like they told me that I have food poisoning, and they gave me some medication. I was hooked up on an IV for maybe an hour or two. Yes, and then like I went back home. Yes,
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. That's
yes.
that's kind of crazy how you go to the hospital and then the food at the hospital made you go back to the hospital.
Oh yes, yes, yes. That's quite funny. Yes.
Was it what exactly did you eat? Do you recall?
It's a Chinese dish with rice noodle, and it kind of mixed with pork, and like I eat it with broth. Yes, it tastes good though, and I had it quite often. Like when I go somewhere, it's like a common dish in Thailand. Yes, but somehow like, but I'm not sure it come from this particular dish or not, or like it came from somewhere. Yes.
That's just the last thing you ate that you recall.
Yes, yes.
Well, gang, I'm glad you're feeling better. Um, I'm sorry you had to go through that. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on upon anyone. I mean, you go somewhere, you buy the food, you trust the food is done well for you, and then it makes you sick. So that kind of sucks. Sorry about that.
I feel that maybe I ate too much at the hospital because after I ate at the food court, I kind of went to the convenience store and bought something else to eat. So because I had to wait for my mom for like hours, so I feel like I had nothing to do. So I keep like eating like while I was waiting. So maybe I was too full and like my stomach couldn't handle the food. Yes.
Could have been like a mix of things.
Yes. Yes.
But all right. Anyway, glad you're able to join us today. So today we do have a specific topic in mind we want to talk about, and that is fentanyl. Fentanyl, a synthetic opioid that is up to 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. Um, this drug is FDA approved. Ironically, it is there is a pharmaceutical fentanyl that is used to like relieve pain, that is used a certain way, that is correctly used, so it doesn't kill anyone. But there is also an illegal fentanyl that some people have literally just touched a little bit of powder and have died and is destroyed a lot of people's lives, has killed people. It is very highly addictive. So if they can, separate it correctly, it may not kill them immediately, but little by little it will do so. Um, Eduardo, have you looked into it? Have you done any research on this lately?
Yes, on the morning I try to find some information about this, and I have seen that the thing that you say, right? It's very powerful. It's even 50,000 more power, 50 times, sorry, more powerful than airings, and that's made very lethal too. So, but I don't know. I have never heard about that because here in Peru, for example, it's not common because normal people that, in Peru, drugs are prohibited. So it's not common to see people smoking marijuana, for example, or some other recreative drug because it's prohibited. But people who do normally, I think the most common drug that we use here is marijuana, and the other drugs are not very common. But I have never heard some information about that. But now that you mention, I find some information and I know that it's very little. But in the other hand, I do not have friends, neither family that consume drug because I try to keep away of them because it's not because I think different, but it's because I'm trying to not have the same behavior than them, right? So I try to at least be very far from them. But that's what maybe it's very new for me.
Good. Stay that way. Stay away from drugs. Don't do them. Yes, here in the US, it is also against the law to have drugs, certain drugs, but you know, people do what they do and people do what they do anyway. But yeah, it's weird, right? Because people are on the streets, they're buying maybe cocaine, and they get a bag and it's some like a little white powder. But I mean, technically, they don't know what's mixed in there. They don't know where it came from, who made it for them, what if it's good for them, if it's bad for them. So yeah, people are able to mix in fentanyl, mix in other things, and that can be the fatal ending if they happen to accidentally, sniff a little bit of fentanyl, and that's how many people have died. Now fentanyl has been found being shipped in, like at the ports, coming in through the border through Mexico. Some fentanyl has even been traced back coming from China. That's a whole other story in itself. But fentanyl lately has been one of the, from what they say, one of the most reasons of death for for young people between like the ages of 18 and like 40. um yeah, and then there's people, a lot of people are addicted to drugs. They may not mean to. They don't say, "Hey, I want fentanyl," but they just accidentally end up using it, and then whatever happens, happens. Um, Gang, in Thailand, is there like, how's the, not that I'm not saying that you would know for any reason, but I'm saying in Thailand, what is a drug that they use often? Is it a problem? Is there a drug problem in Thailand?
I think here fentanyl is not around. Like I have never heard of it, but I heard that it's like a big crisis in the US. Like I think heroin is very addicting already, and like fentanyl is like another level. So it's very scary. But here, I think the most common illegal drug that people use is ecstasy. Yes. Yes, they are everywhere, and I heard that they are quite affordable, like for people to buy and to get access.
And even with ecstasy, it's like a little tablet, a little pill, right? That's
Yes,
how it comes.
yes,
You don't even know what they might add to it or what's in there exactly. They could, same thing with here.
that's
Anything
true.
that's in
That's
a pill form, a powder form, and that's where like the lines get blurred with
yes,
like the drugs that, I mean, no, okay, now a drug can go back to like a pharmaceutical drug, a medicine that can help somebody with a specific situation. It's the abuse of drugs, using drugs that you shouldn't be using because you don't have this issue. And that's where, like I said, the lines get blurred because fentanyl is FDA approved. So you think to yourself, okay, how is a drug that's killing people instantly be FDA approved? Because there's a pharmaceutical fentanyl that they
Yes,
use.
but for example, it's if you, I want to agree something what you say, right? Why maybe it's legal, but if you see, for example, in the United States, many drugs are legal. These maybe not directly are affect the quantity of people that consume drug, but when you make something legal, you desystemize the the drug use, right? So there are people that see drug use normal, and these effects can maybe see that many people use different other drugs. I know that, for example, people who use marijuana normally do not use another drug, and that's correct, but no affect directly, but yes indirectly. For example, for example, uh, are for them it's normal to consume another drug, but not necessarily for them, but for society in general, right? To see drug like something like normal.
Yeah, and in America, for a lot of people, it is normal. I mean, it shouldn't be for the most part, but nobody should abuse drugs, but it still happens, especially some people get over the counter drugs to like relieve pain, which is what fentanyl is supposed to do ideally, but it's completely gone left and people are dying from it. And it's a big problem because a lot of times people can't even they can't even notice it, right? They'll see like a little powder thing, a little pill. They're not sure what it is. There's been instances where people accidentally touched it, accidentally smelled it, and died without even wanting to take drugs, without even knowing what it is. And that's what makes it scary, very scary. And so much of it has come in through the borders and through the ports. They said enough has come in that it could kill every single American in the United States if it if it was spread out. But they've luckily been able to catch a lot of it, and yeah, and hopefully this problem does not continue to get out of hand. Any final thoughts?
For example, again in Thailand, which drugs are prohibited? It's legal to consume marijuana there. I mean, the state allows to sell, or because in some country are not prohibited to consume, but I prohibit to sell. So I wanted to know which is the situation on Thailand.
Um, I think here is okay to smoke a cigarette or drink alcohol. Marijuana was prohibited in the past, but somehow like I think 2 or 3 years ago they kind of changed the law so that it's become legal now, so people can take it. Yes, but I think the law is changing because the government has changed. So I'm not sure what's like the situation about the drugs in Thailand now. But like some other dangerous drugs like ecstasy or like heroin or cocaine are illegal. So you can get thrown into jail like if you are in possession of those kind of drugs.
But yeah, be careful. Stay away from drugs. Don't do drugs. Keep it healthy. But yeah, as far as the fentanyl goes, that is definitely something that I hope does not continue to get out of hand, and they can kind of just stop that. Stop producing it. Even if I'm not mistaken, someone from I think it was El Chapo's son actually said that he wanted them to stop producing it in Mexico, in a certain part of Mexico, because it was killing people. And at that point, I mean, if it's killing people, that's no good. That's no good for business. That's no good for no one. So, um, with that being said, another topic I wanted to bring up to you, gentlemen. So they're saying that a solar superstorm could hit the Earth, and what happens is it could knock off the internet for 1 week to a few months. So if this happens, which they're saying could happen soon, the whole Earth would not have internet for a few months. How do you think you would be able to survive under those terms? You need a
I
moment to
Uh,
think
think.
uh, for me, I think it would be like a big problem because I use the internet all the time, like especially with my job and for my personal life. I listen to podcasts all the time. My computer is linked to the internet, and I have to use information from the internet. And the transaction like about money has to be done to internet when I pay for something, and like when somebody pay me something for the product that I sell to my customer, like they pay me, they have to use the internet. So it would be a big problem if that happened.
for example, you games, have you ever consumed drug? I mean, maybe for recreativity or for some necessity.
uh Ramon or me.
Oh,
I,
yo, we have kind of went past the drug topic. We're talking about the solar superstorm. Did you hear what I said about the solar superstorm, Eduardo?
yes, yes, yes. You mentioned that it's something that it's affecting internet, right?
Yeah, it's something to do with the sun, and they're saying that it's here to give more. Let's see if I can get a little more details on it. But basically, a solar flare would intervene with the earth in some way, and it would affect the electricity, and it would knock off the internet for about a week to a few months. So how would that affect you with your businesses not having the internet?
But wait, this is something that is going to affect or have affected.
They're saying that it can happen in the near future.
Ah, okay, but I suppose that it's very, very critical because, for example, without internet, we can't do anything. When we do some consulting service, we use Zoom meeting, we use uh, internet to connect with speak with people. The same when we try to do a certification service, we do the same meeting. So almost all our meeting is online. So it's going to be very difficult to work. It's going to affect in 90% of our service of our do day-to-day activities.
It would totally mess me up.
Yeah.
100%. I would be like, uh-oh. But what are you gonna do, right? You're gonna adapt, you're gonna find another way. I'm pretty sure it's not a problem that would be permanent. So I would just kind of take the time. I mean, I
Yeah.
would try to enjoy it in a way, right? Because
Yes,
we always have the internet, we always have our phone, so like we're kind of free for a little bit.
I think it would be nice if that happens to like everybody. Yes, and like we could like appreciate time like without the internet because like it's around us everywhere 24/7 for a long time. Yes. So if that happened, it would be nice. I think we could like maybe have some time to see each other face to face and like talk to like people that we haven't seen for a long time. So I think it would be nice. Yes.
Yeah, for
But like
real.
how was like the possibility of like that like event could happen?
I don't know the exact probability. Let me see. Let me see if I can find some.
But for example, for some traditional a business is not going to affect. Suppose that you have to go to the market to sell some products. It doesn't matter if it's internet or not. I mean it's not going to affect directly, but maybe indirectly, right?
Yes.
So for traditional business, I think that it's not going to happen anything. Or for some business, okay, but because for example, if you want to go to a supermarket to but yes, right. If you want to go to the supermarket to sell something, maybe the system is not going to allow you to sell because you need to receive an invoice or something like that. And do you not have internet, so you don't have an invoice. So yes, it's going to affect, but I think that there is few business that is not going to be affected, but almost everyone's is going to be affected.
No, I couldn't imagine. But yeah, but I mean, if it happens, like I said, everyone would be forced to adapt. The world survived without the internet before, and it can do it again.
Yes, but the war, when we survived it without internet, we didn't do what we do now. And even some activity that we do before, we do without internet, but now we do with internet because almost everything has changed, right? For example, go to the market. Before, it doesn't matter if you have internet or not, but now that you need the invoice, that invoice is electronic. So you need to receive your invoice because you work in a company, you work from a company, and the company need this important to their accountability. I don't know, right? So they need the invoice. So it's something that very necessary.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
for
I
real.
think another thing is like now, like for me, I don't even carry cash with me. Yes, I have a phone and I have money in my phone. So when I go somewhere, like if I need money, I can go to the ATM machine and like withdraw some money from my phone. Or I can even use my phone to pay for everything I want. So like if like the internet is not working, I basically have no money. I have no cash to spend. So I think it will be a problem. Yes.
Yes, for example, you're right. For me, for example, I almost do not use cash. And even in my liquor store where people have to pay, they almost not pay with cash. They pay with uh, with other things, like for example, other virtual wallets. So this is going to affect even to traditional workers because almost now everything depends on internet.
Yeah, like here in science.howstuffworks.com says, what is a solar storm? A solar storm is a disturbance in space caused by an eruption on the sun, such as solar flares or coronal mass ejections that release high energy particles into the solar system. What happens if a solar flare hits Earth? When the high energy particles reach Earth, they can cause geomagnetic storms leading to phenomena like auroras and potentially disrupting communication and satellite systems, which would be the internet being messed up. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't happen, but it just kind of rises the question like if it did happen, how would you survive with no internet? Good question you can ask yourself. Um, But anything else, gentlemen? Anything else you guys have been up to? Anything else that's new on your side? Oh, Eduardo, I think you're on mute.
Sorry,
For,
yes, we are here mute because there are some music here, and I don't want that it annoy us with conversation. Yes, you're right, but I don't know. I don't know how to estimate. The money that we are going to lose because of internet because it's going to affect economy. Of course, even you are going to see almost uh, all Wall Street, almost all company affected, right?
For sure. Who would not be affected?
I don't know,
Food
maybe
places?
everyone.
Okay, yes, everyone's gonna be affected a little bit, no matter what. But who wouldn't lose business though?
For
Like
example, in my
food
case,
people?
it's going. In my case, I can't work without internet. So I have to say my people, hey, go to holidays.
Mm,
Uh, I feel that like businesses like a restaurant or like business that sell something that people have to eat are not going to be affected because like people still have to eat. Like in the morning they still have to like eat something. So so those kind of business still be able to sell their products. Yes.
they certainly would. Maybe like mechanics, like
Oh
car.
yes. Yes.
I mean, they don't need the internet. They can still operate.
Yes.
Um, anything that's like a store, I think would kind of get back some, get back some customers. Anything that's retail, the mall will probably get full again, right? Because
Yes. Yes.
now you can't order things online anymore. So now you got to go to the mall. The taxi drivers will be back in business.
Yes.
The Uber wouldn't work. Let me see. I think like sports, like people would go see sports more again. People would go out to clubs more. People would do things that require you to go outside and,
Yes.
and do something more. But I also think that, I don't think that problem would last too long. I think every, that would definitely be on the priority list to solve right away.
I agree.
The internet.
Yes, it's going to be similar than pandemic. You remember pandemic when you can't be outside, you have to find some way to try to keep busy, and we started to share more time with family, to share time in activities, recreativity, for example, or something that keep our attention in something different, right? Because it's something normal. And it's going to be very funny to experiment this. I mean, it's okay maybe one day or 2 day, but I think that we have to find a way how to management this into months or 3 months, depending the duration, right? And we even didn't know which other consequence we have. I mean, only internet is going to be affected, only the internet, or maybe it's going to damage machines, or it's going to damage other thing. We don't know, right? It's like, for example, put your cell phone inside water. Okay, well, of course, cell phone is not going to function, but is it continue function normally passing this or after this? I don't know. Okay, we have to estimate the damage because we have to be prepared, or maybe we have to find a way. Maybe we have to connect cables on the ground or under the ground. I don't know.
It'll be a crazy time. I think it'll be like chaotic a little bit. People would lose it. I think some people wouldn't like the younger people would have a hard time because mind you, we've been around when we were younger with no internet for a little while, but these new young people they've never not been without the internet, so they might
Yes, for
not know how
example, I
to adapt.
remember when before internet exists, I always be outside of my house playing with my friends or something like that, or watching TV, right? Because TV is not internet. You don't use internet, but I don't imagine now what are going to do because almost every life have changed, right? Because of this.
For real, definitely has changed the world, and if they take it away, it'll change it again in a bad way. Hey, what's up with that cat?
The cat is passing with in my keyboard, and I can write that I can see you. That's why I put on the ground each time.
Alrighty, well, just to recap, we spoke a little bit about fentanyl, the drug that has been killing Americans. Spoke a little bit about that. Then we touched base on the solar superstorm that possibly could affect the internet. We talked about how life would be without internet, which is very interesting thing to think about. But yeah, man, that's all I got on my end. Eduardo, any final words before we head out?
Okay, for example, in case of fentanyls, okay, it's public problem, right? It's a public disease, something like that, because government have to control this because it's affect population. It's not the first time that United States have some problem with drugs, so I hope that they find solution very soon uh, because because it's cost to society, right? Uh, Public health costs a lot to society. So if you can control that, you can save a lot of money. In case of the solar store, I think that we have to find some way before it happens. Maybe we should do now experiments. We trying to find solution, but we have to be sure that when it happens, it don't not affect too much. Of course, it can be affected. We can be affected, but no escalate the damage because it's going to be affected everyone's. And as I told you, imagine Wall Street, how it's going to work, and all the economy can collapse. So we have to be careful of that. We have to be prepared. We have to prepare, but now, right, to have our plan B.
Definitely have a plan in place because you never know what can happen. Gang, any final thoughts?
Uh, I think for me, like about the second topic about the internet, I think I can get by without the internet. Like, but if we don't have an electricity, I think it will be another story. Yes, I cannot live with that. I think. Yes.
Yeah, we definitely, it would be very difficult to be without the internet or electricity or anything of that nature. So hopefully, hopefully the sun cuts us some slack and does
Yeah.
not strip us from our from our wonderful internet. But gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me again for another live stream. To everybody out there, thank you for listening. Again, we're just having a conversation, having a getting a point of view from, folks from different parts of the country, from different parts of the world, just learning from each other, having a conversation, and yeah, we're doing the damn thing. Thank y'all for listening, and we're out.